Want to see someone's true colors? Do not ask, do not guess. Just pay close attention to these two things, and the truth will reveal itself. We live in a world where anyone can wear a mask. People can speak sweetly, act politely, and appear full of affection, but what lies underneath is something not everyone can see. And then one day, you are hit with a harsh realization. The person you trusted turned their back on you. The person you once helped started keeping score, and the person you felt close to ends up hurting you the most. The truth is, someone's true nature does not lie in their fancy words or their seemingly kind actions. It always slips out through the tiniest details, the kind that cannot be faked. Just like sunlight cannot stay hidden behind the clouds forever, a person's true character will eventually shine through if you know where to look. In this video, I'm going to share with you two incredibly simple but shockingly accurate signs that can help you tell the difference between someone who is genuine and someone who is just playing a part, no matter how convincing they may seem. I say this based on my experience of over 20 years working in behavioral psychology. If you have ever been hurt by trusting the wrong person, this video will serve as a mirror that helps you live with more clarity, strength, and resistance to being fooled by things that are only pretty on the surface. Before we dive in, leave a comment down below with a positive affirmation, a kind of personal vow to attract better energy. Something like, "I am clear-minded enough to see people's true nature," or whatever feels right to you. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss any more valuable content like this. Let us build a space full of awareness and wisdom together. But before we get to those two signs, take a moment and reflect. Why is it so important to learn how to see people for who they really are? There are some kinds of pain that do not need to be spoken aloud. Just a quiet moment is enough to make your chest tighten, especially when you remember those you once trusted with all your heart, only to watch them walk away. Not because you did anything wrong, just because you no longer had anything to offer them. The older we get, the softer our hearts become. We want to hold on to the good things in life, but that is also when we become the most vulnerable. Sometimes, just one cold comment from a loved one can keep us awake all night. Sometimes they forget to keep a promise. We do not say anything, but inside, something quietly fades. There are people we once thought of as soulmates, as family, but the moment something small happens, they reveal a side of themselves that feels completely unfamiliar. And that is when it hits you. Maybe you never really knew them like you thought you did. What hurts is not just the disappointment, it is knowing that you lived kindly, trusted fully, and in return, all you got was silence, coldness, or worse, someone taking advantage of you. When you are young, you can fall and bounce back again. But when you have already lived through half your life, every time you get hurt, you step back a little more. You no longer have the energy to start over, and you are less willing to open your heart again. So at this age, the most important lesson is not learning how to forgive. It is learning how to choose the right people to trust, so the rest of your life can be peaceful and light. There are still good people in this world. We just need to learn how to spot them sooner. And we need to stay sharp enough not to be fooled by sweet words or fake kindness. Because sometimes, a person's true colors only come out when you have nothing left to give them. So, how can you tell who is sincere and who is just wearing a mask? There are two signs. They may seem small, but they are surprisingly accurate. The first sign to watch for: if you want to know whether someone is truly genuine with you, do not listen to what they say. Look at whether they follow through on what they promised. Keeping a promise is not about flashy gestures to impress others. It is the clearest reflection of someone's inner values, moral foundation, and how they define self-worth. A person who keeps their word is usually someone with strong principles, a sense of responsibility, and most importantly, someone who respects the feelings of others. Have you noticed? In everyday life, we often get swayed by sweet talk and hopeful promises. I will call you tonight. Next week, I will definitely stop by. Next time, It is on me. These promises sound so warm and friendly, but how many of them are actually kept? And more importantly, how many times have you felt let down when they never followed through? Mr. Thomas, a close friend and former patient at my psychology clinic, is a powerful example. After his wife passed away, he lived alone, with only the occasional visitor. One day he told me, "My daughter said she would call every Sunday night. The first week, I had my phone ready by 6 o'clock. By 9, still nothing. The second week, I waited again. By the third week, I started questioning. The fourth week, I stopped waiting. By the fifth week, I turned the ringer off." This story is not about blaming a child. It is about how deeply not keeping a promise can affect someone who is hoping. For older people, a promise is not just a throwaway line. It can be a source of comfort, emotional support, and sometimes the only thing that reminds them they still matter. From a psychological perspective, people who consistently keep their promises tend to have high emotional intelligence. They do not just say what sounds good. They understand that every word carries weight and can either lift someone up or cause real pain. They think carefully before making any promise, and once they do, they will try their best to follow through, no matter how busy life gets. And because of that habit, they build trust in their relationships, maintain integrity in their work, and live with more inner peace. These people are usually not loud or flashy, but they make others feel safe, because when they say something, they mean it. On the other hand, people who constantly break promises, even with what sound like valid excuses like, "I was busy," "I forgot," or "something urgent came up," are really showing that you are not a priority to them. When someone keeps putting you on the back burner or always delays what they said they would do, it means you are not important enough for them to rearrange their schedule. You might forgive them a few times, but if it keeps happening, stop and ask yourself, am I putting too much trust in someone who cannot even keep a small promise? Do not waste your emotional energy on people who only make you wait. One more thing, and this is especially important as we age. Your mental well-being cannot thrive in shallow relationships. Every time you are disappointed by a broken promise, your heart sinks a little. Your trust wears thin. And if it happens too many times, it can lead to withdrawing from others, feeling abandoned, losing your sense of connection, all of which are major contributors to depression and weakened immunity in older adults. Do not underestimate the value of choosing who you allow into your life. Someone who always keeps their promises, even the smallest ones, is someone worth trusting, investing in emotionally, and staying close to. Because the person who keeps their word is the one who sees you not as an option, but as a priority. The second sign, how they treat people who bring them no benefit. We have all heard the saying, "Sweet when they need you, cold once they are done." But you only truly understand the bitterness of that phrase when you are the one being left behind. It is not just disappointment, it is a sharp pain that cuts deep. Because you once believed there was something real between you and that person, a bit of friendship, a sense of closeness, or at the very least, sincere respect. You were once willing to help, to share personal things, to believe that you held a special place in their heart, until one day, you no longer had the strength to support them, the money to give, or the value to be used. And just like that, they vanished, as quickly as they had once appeared. No calls, no concern, not even a trace of regret. That is when it hits you. You were just a side character in a story they wrote. And the moment your scene ended, your role was erased, without warning. Do not be surprised if someone who once held your hand through hard times suddenly turns cold when you are no longer strong. Do not feel sad if someone you helped a lot now says, "I'm too busy," and disappears from your life once you grow weaker. Yes, those moments hurt, but they are also powerful turning points, moments when the mask falls away and the truth stands bare. I once worked with a 78-year-old man, a former CEO of a large company. When he was healthy, he helped countless people. But after retirement, following a minor stroke, he had to rely on the care of a housekeeper. The most painful thing is not the illness, he said. It is lying in bed and realizing that none of the people I helped ever called to check on me. The only one by my side every day is a young maid I never thought I would grow close to. I will never forget the look in his eyes as he said that. There was no anger, only disillusionment and the quiet acceptance of someone who once believed that kindness would eventually be returned. From a social psychology perspective, how someone treats those who are weaker, those who no longer offer them anything, is the most accurate measure of moral integrity. Truly kind people do not help others in order to receive something back. They act with compassion, with the understanding that everyone has moments of weakness. And in those moments, kindness is the one thing that holds us to life. It might show up in the way they speak to a restaurant server, in how they treat an elderly person who repeats the same question over and over, or in their reaction to someone who is no longer sharp, who has grown older, slower, and can no longer be of any use. If someone is polite to you but condescending to the waiter, they are not kind, they are just performing well. If someone says they love you, but once you retire, fall ill, or become less energetic, they start to grow distant, then that love was never real. In many Eastern philosophies, especially in Buddhism and Confucianism, the highest virtue does not lie in talent or eloquent speech, but in how one treats those who have nothing to offer in return. Because true character is not shown in success, but in how someone treats those who have nothing to offer them. As the saying goes, kindness is a reflection of character. Compassionate people never hurt those who are weaker. In the end, how you treat the powerless today speaks volumes about your own future. One day, we will all grow old and need help. And when that time comes, life gives back exactly what we once gave. So, if you want to know if someone truly has a good heart, do not just watch how they treat you when things are going well. Pay attention to how they treat those who are weaker, poorer, or have nothing to do with their life. That is where you will see a person's true nature revealed, clearly and undeniably. Now that you understand the two key signs to see someone's true nature, how they keep their promises, and how they treat those who bring them no benefit, you might be wondering, how can I develop this skill? How can I not only recognize who is genuine, but also become a trustworthy person in the eyes of others? Because knowing how to read people helps you choose the right companions. But becoming someone trustworthy helps you build a life that truly matters. There is something interesting about highly perceptive people. They do not need to ask too many questions. They do not need others to talk about morals, kindness, or life philosophy. They simply observe, because they know that the real person never shows up in words. It always slips out in the tiniest, most ordinary details that cannot be faked. You have lived long enough to understand, genuinely good people never need to say they are good. They never go around saying, "I always keep my word," or "I am very kind," or "I always help others." Because when something comes from the heart, it shows in their actions, in how they treat others, and in the quiet consistency that needs no effort. So, how do you train yourself to see people this clearly? How do you know who to trust just by observing how they live, without relying on what they say? The answer lies in three very simple but incredibly effective things. Observe repeated behavior, create subtle tests, and learn to listen more than you speak. First, observe repeated actions. A person may be kind once, may help you out when they are in a good mood, may say nice things when everything is going well. But do not draw any conclusions too fast. Watch if they do it more than once. Repeated behavior is the true reflection of character. A patient person is not patient just one time. Someone who keeps their word does not do it just once. They are consistent. They do small things regularly, quietly, and without showing off. Those are the people worth trusting. Second, create gentle tests, not to trap anyone, but to see their real reactions when there is no spotlight. Third, learn to listen more than you speak, because that is the skill of those who have been through life. People who have weathered many storms do not rush to judge. They do not need to talk much to prove themselves. They take a step back, observe more carefully, and listen longer. They let others reveal themselves through every story, every sideways glance, every moment of hesitation or overly smooth comment about someone else. And it is in those small, seemingly harmless details that the truth begins to appear. If you listen long enough, you will see. The one who is honest never needs to embellish, while the one hiding something tends to talk too much and reveals their slip-ups the more they speak. A small contradiction in their story, a mismatched facial expression, or even an overly exaggerated compliment can all be the key to unlocking who they really are. If you want to develop this skill, start with something very simple but powerful. Write a gut feeling journal after every conversation. It does not need to be long, just a few lines about how you felt. Did that person make you feel calm or uneasy? Did you sense sincerity, or was something off, even if you cannot quite explain it? Did they say something that made you stop and wonder? No one is born with the perfect ability to tell who is genuine and who is not. There is something strange, but deeply true. The more you refine your ability to read others, the more trustworthy you become yourself. Why? Because when you truly understand others' emotions, you stop living impulsively. You stop saying things just to win approval. You stop making pretty promises just to be liked. You live honestly, not flashy, but consistent, not dramatic, but solid. You will not treat people well just because they are useful. You will be kind, simply because that is the kind of life you choose to live. People will begin to trust you, not because you speak well, but because your actions match the standards you expect in others. You once wished to meet someone who keeps their word, someone who would not abandon you in your weakness. So, be that person first. Be the one who does not turn away, the one who treats even those who have nothing to offer with kindness. And when you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, you will find a kind of lightness in life that is truly freeing. Live honestly, live clearly, live with integrity. Not to be recognized, but so you never have to doubt yourself again. Words can be rehearsed, actions can be staged, but the two signs you have just learned, those are things no one can fake forever. You might write something like, "I am clear-eyed enough to see the truth behind words," or anything you want to attract into your life starting today. And if this video brought something truly valuable to you, do not forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those you love. Every bit of engagement from you is not just motivation, it is part of a shared mission to spread awareness and clarity throughout the community. Thank you for listening all the way to the very end. I wish you the clarity to see others for who they really are, and the love to never lose sight of who you truly are.